If you're running a seven-figure business, congratulations. But growing it beyond that brings a new set of challenges. The same thinking and actions that got you to seven figures probably isn't going to be enough to get you to 8. You need scalable systems, empowered teams, and a clear plan for exponential growth. And that's what our compounding business growth formula provides for every business. So watch this video. In this video, we're going to be talking about how to scale a seven-figure business. Now, we're going to do that using the compounding business growth formula, but we're going to have some nuances on it compared to the other videos we've done for smaller size businesses using this same formula. So congratulations, if you're doing 7 figures in your business already, then you've obviously got a level of mastery in quite a few different aspects of your business. But by using this video here, you can go back and check on where you are and possibly what is any low-hanging fruit available to you and the company to look at to see how you can maximize further growth through your business by making some small tweaks to your business in a number of different areas. But first, let's just go through the compounding business growth formula and explain it so that you understand it in its entirety. You'll notice on here the formula, there's 8 blue areas and there's 6 green areas. The 6 green areas are key result areas. Okay, so they're key result indicators for your business. So number of prospects, number of customers, annual revenues, gross profits, net profits, and cash in the bank. Now, these are a result, so you cannot directly change these. What we need to do is we need to focus on developing each of the 8 compounding business growth formula criteria here. So number of leads to prospect conversion rate. Number 3 is prospect to customer conversion rate. Number 4 is average value sale per customer. Number 5 is the average number of transactions per customer per year. Number 6 is your gross profit margins. Number 7 is your net profit margins. And number 8 is your monetary conversion, which is pretty much your cash conversion cycle plus any taxation strategies. Okay, so they're the 8 different business growth criteria. Now, you already will know your numbers for some of these, but what we want to do over the next few weeks and months to come is identify your numbers for each of these 8 different areas. Okay, so an interesting exercise will be for you to go away after you see this video and identify which of these numbers you've got. Many of them you can get through either your sales pipeline if you're measuring that. If you're not, then you need to talk about that with us because we measure all these 8 business growth criteria through our CRM system and our accounting software that's integrated with the CRM system, so you can have all these numbers available to you and your business so you can make better management decisions and quicker management decisions on what is the smart things to work on to grow your business the quickest so that you're getting that exponential growth kicking in as soon as possible in your business. Right, now the aim here is to obviously identify where the low-hanging fruit is for your business, depending on what areas you're already good at, is to identify up to 3 strategies to look for at least a 10% gain in each of these areas. Now, you may be able to get more. You may be able to get more in 1 or 2 of the areas, but it just really depends on what you're already doing. But it starts with knowing your numbers. Okay, so there's some low-hanging fruit that I want to discuss briefly for 7-figure business. One is looking at your conversion rates. How far have you nailed these down? So as an example, for conversion rates, are you measuring conversion rates for lead to prospect and prospect to customer? Are you doing it per lead source? Are you doing it per individual team member? So if you think about it per lead source, you can have different conversion rates from lead to prospect and prospect to customer for different lead sources. So what are the low-hanging fruit ones there to improve on? If you've got more than one salesperson in the business, measuring the conversion rates of your different salespeople. What is their conversion rates? Breaking that down and working on the ones that have a lower one and using the skill sets of the ones with the higher conversion rates to develop the skill sets of the ones with the lower ones. So there's a range of different things you can be doing here from a 7-figure business perspective to empower your team. Remember I said at the beginning of the video, okay, we need to have better business systems. We need to have an empowered team and we need to have a clear plan for exponential growth. So, we need to measure all these different criteria, find out where the low-hanging fruit is, put a plan in place to develop these areas, and then work to that plan to achieve the results you want to achieve. So let's just go through some of the examples of the numbers here in the chart. Look, here's a business doing $1 million. Now, your numbers will be different, I know, but look, your revenues, if you're on 7 figures, will be around, around this area here, whatever the figure is for you, but you'll be able to work out what these things here are as far as work your way back. So how many leads are you getting in through the business? What is the lead to prospect conversion rate? What is your prospect to customer conversion rate? Now, if you're not measuring these yet, then that's a fantastic opportunity to start measuring them, because I can guarantee you there's opportunities to improve this and substantially grow your numbers here. So we're just going to go through the formula and explain how it works for you so that you can look for ways to grow this and also speak to us about it and make informed decisions about what we do. So look, in this example here, we've got 10,000 leads with a lead to prospect conversion rate of 40%. That gives you 4,000 prospects. 4,000 prospects with a 60% conversion rate from prospect to customer gives you 2,400 customers. Okay, 2,400 customers during the year. Each on average spend £150. Now, some may only spend 100, others may spend 200, but the average in this case is 150. Okay, and each customer buys on average 3 times a year. Okay, so some may only buy once, others may buy 5 or 6 times, but the average number of transactions per year per customer is, in this case, 3. So 2,400 customers times £150 average value sale times 3 transactions a year gives you £1,080 in annual revenues. Now, your gross profit margin in this case is 66%. And you multiply that by the revenues by the gross profit margin, and your gross profits are 712,800. Now your net profit margins are 40%. Now, even though that may sound high when I'm talking your net profit margins of your gross profit, not net profit margin of your total revenues. Okay, so you're making a 40% net profit margin from your gross profits, which means you've got net profits of 285,000, which, as you can see, when you compare to the revenues, is a net profit of about 27% compared to your revenues. Okay, so just to be clear on that aspect there. Then you've got monetary conversion. So you've got net profits of 285, and you've got at any one's time maximum cash in bank 171 grand. You may be thinking, well, where's the other £110,000? Well, it's tied up in your accounts receivables, accounts payables, and your inventory. Okay, so typically, we want to get that pretty much to as low as we possibly can, so we've got the maximum amount of cash in the bank. Okay, so look, once you've identified these numbers, in here, what we then want to do is identify the low-hanging fruit and work on the ones that are easiest to work on first. And then, but what we want to do is identify a 10% gain in each of the blue areas here so that this formula starts to kick in. So we get our number of leads from 10,000 up to 11,000. Okay, it should be another 0 there. I do apologize. Okay, you've got a conversion rate boost by 10%, so 40% to 44%. You've got number of prospects from 4,000 to 4,840. You've got conversion rate jumps from 10%, then from 60% up to 66%. Now, you multiply your new prospect numbers by 4,840 by 66%, you'll find you end up with 3,194 customers. It's a big jump from 2,400 in year one. You'll find that is a jump of about 31%. And then over here, you've got your average value sale goes from 150 up to 165, a 10% gain. Here, number of transactions is 3, jumps to 3.3, again, a 10% gain. And if you multiply these figures here, you find your revenues jump from £1,080 to £1,739,139. So your gross profit margins, again, look, we're not going for 10% gains in this area here like I've done in other videos, because I said this is typically the hardest area to improve. So we're only going to go for about a 2 to 3% gain here. Okay, so because as you grow, you can get an increase in gross profit margins, and there are strategies to do this, but we're only going to go for a 2% gain in this example. Now, so we multiply the 1,739,133 by 68% gross profit margin, and that gives you gross profits of £1,182,610. Now, your net profit margins again jump by 10%, and that gives you a boost from net profits from 285,120 to 520,348. And then we look at your monetary conversion again, boost that by 10%, and then you find your cash jumps from 171,072 pence in this example to 343,430. Now look, I accept your numbers will be different, but we need to identify what your numbers are so we can start working this formula for you and show you the exponential gains you can get in your business in year one. Now look, this is year one. So how do you scale beyond that? So look, that is a 61% increase in revenues. It's a massive 82% increase in profits, and it's a huge 101% increase in cash in 1 year by making sure you work on each of the 8 business growth criteria. You have to work on all 8 for these figures to kick in. Okay, so in this example here we are at year 2. So this is the end of year 1. Rightio, so I missed the 0 there again. I do apologise. So, and what we want to do is we want to add, again, 10% on each of the blue areas in the second year. Now, if we can do that with the same strategies from year 1, great. If you can't, though, if you find they're getting a bit tired or they're not giving you the gains, or the gains aren't speeding up, then we need to add more strategies keep the strategies that are working now, but add more strategies into the fold, into the business model, so you've got this scalable plan for exponential growth. Okay, so we identify 10% gains in each of these different areas. I'm not going to go through the maths again here. You can stop the video and go through these numbers yourself, but I will point out to you the revenues gain. It goes from 1,739,133 at the end of year 1 to 2,808,466 at the end of year 2. Your net profits go from 520,348 at the end of year 1 to £951,508 at the end of year 2. And your cash goes from 343,430 at the end of year 1 to £690,794 at the end of year 2. Now, when we get, say, an average of 10% on these things here, I will point out to you, with your business at scale at this level, you might find that it's quite possible to grow it by an area by 20%. As an example, leads to prospect conversion rate, at 44%, you can add another 20, 30, 40% onto that, and it's easily achievable if you're targeting the right sort of leads. Okay, so there are certain strategies you can do around content marketing, a range of other things here to help you grow your business the smart way in these aspects. But look, before you work on leads, and there's another video on the criteria and the order you need to work on these on. It's in another short video on our YouTube channel. Please check that out. Make sure your conversion rates are reasonably high before you start scaling your lead generation and spending money on leads, because it doesn't make sense to be generating leads if you're burning more than 50% of your leads. Okay, get your conversion rate above 50% before you start going to scale with your lead generation. Okay, so let's get that aspect right. So that's just one little tip there as an example. So at the end of year 2, from the beginning, since we started, you've got a 160% increase in revenues, you've got a 233% increase in profit, and you've got a massive 303% increase in cash. That's in 2 years using this formula. Okay, so let's take a quick look at year 3. So here we are at year 3. You can see the figures here at the end of year 2. Again, doing the 10% gain on each of the 8 blue areas. More if you can, but in this example, we're just doing an average of 10% gain across the board here. And you can see your revenues jump in year 3 from 2,808,466 to £4,515,084. And your net profits go from 951,508 to 1,729,458. And your cash jumps from 690,794 to 1,381,837. That's all achievable in 3 years using a formula such as this. Now, those gains from the start there are, after 3 years, a 318% increase in revenues, a massive 506% increase in profit, and a huge 707% increase in cash in 3 years using that formula. Okay, so let's do a comparison from the start of year 1 through to the end of year 3. So you can see the figures here, how they jump up all the way through. And you've got here, look, your revenues jump from 1,080,000, which we showed you at the beginning, to 4,515,084. 712,800 is your gross profit at the beginning of this. There's now 3,250,860. Your net profits were 285,120. They're now 1,729,458. and your cash has massively jumped from 171,072 to 138,137. So look, that's how the formula works. Stop the video, do the math if you need to, check it out for yourself. It all adds up. Now, if you'd like to find out how to scale your business beyond 7 figures using this formula, then by all means, book a 15-minute call with us. Okay, when I say it's a 15-minute call, it'll be a Zoom call. Okay, so we like to look at you face-to-face online. We'll book a 15-minute call, discuss what your current needs are, find out a bit more about what you're doing, and then we'll book you in for a complimentary business growth audit where we'll run you through this formula and identify the best strategies for you and your business and see if it's worthwhile working together. Have a fantastic and profitable day. Why would you choose to make it anything else?